Hi there, this is Alfie Whattam, London's tech recruiter and the host of the London Technology Podcast. Today I'm joined by Simon Hamp. Thanks for joining us, Simon. Could you start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Thanks for having me on. Yeah, I'm Simon. Uh, you can use he or him with me. Software engineer working at Alfie, which is a femtech startup, not fintech, slightly different. We build connected devices for women's health. And I head up the software engineering team there. I've been doing software development with perhaps more web-focused products for just over 15 years. Do
Awesome.
you want
So
to know
you've been,
anything else?
no, that's perfect. That's a nice little summary. So 15 years in the game. A lot of people that watch these videos, Simon, they're pretty new to the industry. Have you got any
Mm.
advice for people that are just starting their tech journeys?
Yeah, I've got a few bits actually. I think hopefully I can run through these quite quickly. But I think the first one is to know your worth. It's really important as there's a big demand for technical staff these days, and I think that's only really going to grow. You have to understand the market's expectations, obviously, but also it's good to not settle. Perhaps make sure that you're going to be happy with whatever choice that you make for a role, for remuneration, and that kind of thing. So yeah, definitely know your worth. I think following on from that, though, you have to carefully balance the knowledge that you're building. Obviously at the starting point of your career, you're very aware of the things that you know that you want to put into practice, but also the things that you don't know that you still want to learn and progress in. And I think there's a really fine line of sort of that shallow, broad knowledge that you might build, and then walking between that and the deep kind of narrow niche knowledge. So trying to find that sweet spot, if you like, is a fine line, but it's very rewarding. And then I suppose finally, just be open to trying different things. Focus on technologies and platforms that help people rather than just something that's going to bring money in and pay the bills, because you'll find a lot more reward and gratification from that.
Absolutely, that's great advice, especially the final piece around doing something that makes a positive difference in the world, so you can feel more proud of the work that you do. Absolutely. Now, if you were to look into the future, Simon, are there any technologies which get you excited, which you think will have a big impact on the future ahead?
Yeah, I thought about this for quite a while because it's tricky. When you get into what you're working on, it's quite hard to see outside the scope of those things. I'm lucky in a way, I would say, because I'm working with a company that's building hardware products. They're connected devices. That there's a lot of range within that to think about new technologies, but it's not always like the leading edge. We're kind of rebuilding technologies that already exist in many ways, not always super innovative. But I think within that, one thing that stood out to me and that I've been aware of for a while is battery technology, and how poor it really is these days in compared to the requirements that we have of the technology. We've got supercomputers in our pockets that barely last a day. We're producing renewable energy like never before, but we've got nowhere to hold on to it. Or, basically, it's very difficult for us to make use of that over a long period of time. And then there's things like Teslas, they require huge batteries. So there's massive opportunities in that space just to improve huge ranges, from the personal tech side to the industrial side and beyond. And I think that's going to be really exciting. I believe that there are going to be some huge advances in battery technology just around the corner. You know, I suppose it's been like that for maybe 20 or 30 years, but I believe that we're getting very close to that now, and that's going to be exciting for how, you know, on a global scale, how we think about energy. But then my focus definitely is more on software side, and I think that one of the problems that I've seen more and more that I'm really excited about there being a solution to, whether I get to solve that myself or not is another matter, but just the tooling to be able to make connecting data from different sources together and make that really accessible by people who perhaps don't know any code or don't have the time or the desire to learn languages like SQL or, you know, other things like that, and just want to be able to go, right, I want that from there, and I want that from there, and I want to hash that together, and I want to come up with a result. And there are many facets to that. Obviously, that's a very high level view, but I think ultimately some combination of technologies that's going to allow that to be really easy and approachable is going to be really beneficial.
Yeah, those are some good points. Somebody mentioned on the podcast the other day the second point as well, in terms of, you know, now you have Squarespace and Wix and other platforms to create mobile apps, and obviously, you know, being a developer helps, and you can create it more customized. But you know, nowadays anybody can build their own website or app or platform to a degree without having too much technical knowledge. So it's interesting that you mention it, really. And the battery thing is fascinating as well. I think Elon mentions it's the biggest challenge they've got at Tesla, but if they can crack it, it will change the world. I mean, they already have, but even on a greater scale.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's huge.
brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Simon, for taking the time to share your ideas and insights. It was really useful. So thanks again for your time, and thank you to everybody for watching as well.
You're most welcome. Thank you for having me on.